Hello players, today we will talk about small blind against free positions. We will focus mainly on statistics against cutoff and button when we are on small blind, so we would like to have cold call in range of 12 to 15% and 3-bet will be about 12 to 15%. First of all, we should be concentrated on the type of the tournament. Basically, if we play PKO tournament, we focus on if we cover our opponent or not. If we cover him, we make our range wider. We enter the hands with a wider range. But in freeze-outs, we do not think about if we cover opponent or not. These are ranges which we will play on small blind against. So this is early position range. It's kind of tight, but basically the field plays close to it. Middle position, hijack, cutoff. Button depends usually on player. Very aggressive players can open up to 57%. Average regulars open raise about 50% and a little bit tight. Regulars go with 43% of their range. We will discuss how to play against each of these ranges. There you will see some hands with so-called weight. So these hands we can play differently. It depends on the situation, like if we play it in freeze-out or in knockout. But basically, if we decide between 3-bet and cold call, we take a look at our opponent frequency fold frequency against 3-bets, and if we cover our opponent, we would like to 3-bet him because opponents which do not cover us fold more, and also we would like to increase the pot with value hands to knock out the opponent out of the tournament and get his knockout. When we decide which size we are going to use, we take a look at the effective stack, the smallest stack between two. For example, if we have 70 big blinds and our opponent has 30 big blinds, the maximum blinds we can win is 30. So this is the effective stack. Take a look at the picture. When we are 70 plus big blinds deep, we use sizing 10 to 13 big blinds out of position on small blind. The lesser stack, the lesser sizing we use. Don't forget about it, because it's very important. If with value hands we would like to increase the pot, and with bluff hands we do not want to get a lot of calls, so we increase the sizing, thus we increase the fold equity. We are going to have a lot of charts, so it will be good if you print the charts. You do not use them on your computer, so you won't risk your account. It is also a good idea to visualize the charts, so you can go to software like Flopzilla, Equilab, whatever you like. Try to ask yourself, what would I 3-bet on small blind against button in 50 big blinds stack size? Try to draw it, then compare it to the original chart and see what you missed. With this practice, you will remember the ranges better. Also, we will see 3-bets with hands like 8s to jacks. Some people are afraid of 3-betting them. They feel like, oh, I will 3-bet, I get called, there will be an overcard and it will be very difficult for me. But in fact, if you cold call it, you will still have an overcard, but we won't be an aggressor, and you won't be able to c-bet and get the flop, get the pot right on the flop. So if you 3-bet it, even if you see overcard with your 8s, you can make a gun-bet and make an opponent fold better hand, like not better hand, but some overcards or hand with equity, because you are out of position, and if you are just cold calling your 8s, you'll have to face a c-bet, then an opponent can check the turn, and then there will be a river, and your 8s can become a fourth pair to the river. So better to be the initiator of aggression with these pairs. Now this is the legend we will have. So we will have calls, we will have 3-bets, and if we get jammed, we will call this jam with the green color. There will be some hands which we 3-bet fold, and some hands which we simply jam as a 3-bet. Please be attentive to the sizings of open raises, because when we are on small blind, we are not on the big blind, we need to add more chips to the pot to see the flop. So if you see the increased sizing like 2.5, it's not the same as defending against 2.5 on a big blind. So if you see increased sizings, defend with more tighter range. This is about sizings above 2.5. So if you see 2.2, it's not that much important, but 2.5, let it be a marker when you should be more careful. Let's see the first range. This is the situation when we see early position open 3 big blinds. There are some players who like to open with increased sizing from button and cutoff, trying to steal, but from early positions, increased sizings mean something strong. So this is how you need to defend against open raise 3 big blind, which potentially includes 7% of the range. It is very tight and you do not call hands even like 5s, 6s, 4s, 3s, deuces. So be careful about the sizings. What about standard situations? So this is the chart, small blind against early position, 50 plus big blinds. Here you can see that you have kinda lot of cold calls. You cold call all pairs, you cold call gap connectors, and also you have some 3-bet bluffs. You 3-bet as a bluff suited aces, some weak kings, but be careful with the 9th line. It's kinda good and you do not want to lose your equity against a 4-bet, so you can simply call the middle and 3-bet polar range like weak aces and the strong suited aces. When the stack gets lower, some 3-bets disappear, but still you make a lot of calls. Hands like off-suited Broadway, Queen 10, King Jack, Jack 10, for some people, they're beautiful, they like to play these hands, but on small blind, you are out of position, the hand is off-suited, it's very much dominated by the opponent from early position range, so he has all the queens better. For example, if you defend with Queen 10 and your hand is off-suited, it's difficult to play it on a post-flop because you do not have flush draw potential. So, if you remember the charts, try to ask yourself a question: in which stack sizes you want to 3-bet suited Broadway more and why? Pause the video, think a little. Alright, if you remember correctly from previous lectures, you know that the lesser stack size we have, the more often we will get 4-bets jams. So in these scenarios, we do not want to lose our equity. So if we have stack size less than 50 big blinds, we tend to 3-bet less with suited Broadway hands. And if we have more than 50, we are more free to do it. Take a look at small blind in 50 big blinds against early position, 3-bet range, and in stack sizes less than 50 big blinds. So you see, there we want to 3-bet a lot in 50 plus big blinds, and there we do not want to 3-bet suited Broadway like this middle part. Take a look at these two charts, calculations. Which one do you think is against a small blind against early position, and which one is small blind against middle position? It's kind of very close. So the idea is that these charts are very similar, this calculation. So to make it a little bit more easy now on our current level, we can defend against middle position the same range as against early position. There won't be huge mistakes if you do it right. Let's go to the hijack situation. We want to cold call even King 5 suited. Ask yourself, do you defend King 5 suited on small blind against hijack? And if the answer is no, then you play too tight on small blind. So basically the idea is the same. We never like fold the connectors, and the later position, the more suited kings and suited queens we want to add to our defense range. And you always can think about the 3-bet against hijack with all suited aces. The lesser stack, the less Broadway we want to 3-bet. But the idea with 3-bet with suited weak aces is the same. We do not want to miss this opportunity if we cover our opponent or if he has high fold to 3-bet frequency. What about cutoff and button? These situations are the most frequent because early position can open 1 time out of 5, but cutoff and button, one of them will always open all the time. So we will see these situations and we need to be ready to fight back against cutoff and button steal. Take a look at the range. So in 50 plus big blinds, we want to 3-bet very many hands. So it will be suited aces, suited Broadway, and we have some off-suited combinations, King Queen, Ace Jack, and of course you can cold call these off-suited Broadway hands. In 30 to 50 big blinds, we 3-bet suited Broadway. We cold call a lot. Suited aces are the perfect candidate to do it. About 3-bet calling. So if the stack size is close to 30 big blinds, you can go and cold jam with Ace-10 suited and Ace Jack off-suited, because opponents can be jamming white in 30 big blinds and your hand will be enough. But pay attention to the type of the opponent. If you know that this is a very nitty opponent, be careful and avoid calling the jams, but against regular players you can do these calls. When we are 20 to 30 big blinds, we want to use the jams. All the pairs we jam. Suited Broadway is perfect for jamming. Like if you jam King 10 suited, you can get called. but it will be hands like ace queen, ace jack, some aces. You won't be heavily dominated most of the times. You will go fine against middle pockets, so do not miss this opportunity to jam these hands. King queen suited or ace king suited, these hands are good to play post flop in 3-bet pots, so you can use small sizing of 3-bet and it will be alright. Try to concentrate on the tables when you play against cutoff and button, because there can be tight players, there can be very aggressive players, and you need to adapt to these players. What do you think? If our opponent opens wide, what do you want to do more? To call or to 3-bet? You can pause the video, think a little. So you can see that if we play against button, who opens 50% of his range, we play like this. So we 3-bet all the weak suited kings, we 3-bet all suited weak suited aces, and we have some bluffs like 8-6, 7-6, because these hands are not dominated by the calling range of our opponent. So if you 3-bet 7-6, you do not get called by king 7 of suited. Our opponent will fold this hand and he will call with hands, for example, like king jack suited. Our ranges do not cross and we are feeling good in 3-bet bank. So the point is that if our opponent opens more weak hands he has, and if you 3-bet against opponent who opens a lot, you get a lot of folds, and also you do not let the big blind enter the hand. So if you see opponent opens a lot, try to think more about 3-betting with whole your range. The less stack we have, you can compare. The less we want to 3-bet, we want to call more, especially with suited hands, but still you have 3-bets with off-suited part of the range. Like you can compare, you see your suited hands in 50 big blinds, they like move a little bit to the left part of your range. So you 3-bet with hands you are not afraid of falling to a jam. In 20 to 30 big blinds against button, you have very many hands to jam, and still you have some calls with this like weak suited, middle suited part. About jamming with stacks like less than 20 big blinds, you can use these ranges. So against early position, you can jam these hands, but pay attention to the type of the opponent. If the opponent is mega nitty, maybe you can cut a little bit your pairs to 8s, for example, and remove this king 10, queen 10 suited, depends on the opponent. Against button and cutoff, against this wide range, you can jam wider, you can raise steal, so that's the point. Let's sum it up. Remember that if you cover your opponent, you can play wider than the ranges we offer. So try to enter as many hands as possible if you cover your opponent, but don't go crazy with 100% over your range. Just think like a little bit to the right. So if you normally call with king 5 suited when you do not cover your opponent, and if you cover, you can make it to king 3 suited, for example. About decision with 3-bets when you're on small blind and you see an open raise from cutoff and button. If it is regular on button and fish on big blind, you want to call your hand because you want to fish player to enter the hand and you will be able to play against fish. Because if you 3-bet, fish will fold and you won't have an opportunity. But if you see fish open raise from button and there is a regular on big blind which can squeeze, for example, or you do not want the regular to be in the pot with you and the fish, so you can 3-bet and isolate the fish from the regular. So this is the point I wanted to bring to you. Waiting for your weekly reports. Thank you for the attention and good luck.